So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this case, which is a Monoprice weatherproof case, into our enclosure for our Allskeye camera system. This system is going to be a little bit different than what I used in the past, which used a ZWO camera, which was, you know, a dedicated astrophotography camera. This one I'm actually going to use a mirrorless camera body with lens in here, a Fujifilm. I want to see if I can get better imaging from that. So the first step we're going to do is I've actually already lined out the size of my dome, which is there, which is has about a 3 3¾ inch internal diameter on the dome, about a 4 inch with the flange, maybe a little bit more than that. And we're going to do that using the 3½ inch, which will give us a little bit of margin for error, hole saw here. And this should make quick work of it with my spider. Slow down this. Longer than I thought it would. Actually, the bottom is a little thicker than I thought it was. That bottom's almost pretty dang close to a 1/4 inch thick. But as I said, the hole saw makes quick work of that and does a good job of giving you a circle that's right where you want it. I said I had a little bit of clearance, which looks like I've got about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, which is about right. Let me do some cleanup and then we'll come back for the next part. I'm going to just clean these edges up just slightly here. Just run the old utility knife around the edge and bevel it slightly, which will also clean these edges up at the same time. And try and do the same on the inside, although it probably doesn't need it as much. Just a light touch. That looks really good. Now we've got a nice little hole in there. Now this is the same technique basically that they use for camera traps for photographing wildlife. I'm just adapting it slightly for an Allskeye camera. Okay, next thing I got to do is I need to drill 2 small holes on the back here to accommodate the clamps that I'll use to mount it. And I'm going to use a 1/4 inch drill for this. And I want it roughly centered. Now that was much quicker. Roughly centered. That was real quick. Yeah, those look pretty good. Probably could have been a little bit straighter, but oh well. we'll take a look at what we're going to do on that in a bit. But we've got those two drilled, that large hole drilled. That can now get glued on there with silicone, which I have to find my silicone. And then the last thing I need will actually go inside. I've got a 1 by, well, 3/4 by 1.5, I think this is. I need to cut down, and this is going to be the platform that I mount the camera to, and then I'm going to drill some holes in it to accommodate some screws to allow it to be adjustable inside the box. So we'll take a look at that next. I have got a small diagram that I made for my body, so I can match that off, and then I'll just match where the screws need to go, where the bolts need to go. So that's what I need to do now. So I'll come back and I'll have this all marked out. Okay, so now we've got our piece of wood here marked up. I've got to drill 6, 8, 9, 11 holes, it looks like. All of them will be using the 1/4 inch bit. So I'm going to actually do these right here on this table, and let's use my scrap piece of wood here to keep it from going through. Not quite through yet. Let's crank up the RPMs. It went through. I'm a little off on my level, but oh well. That was a little better. These don't need to be exact, thankfully, because I'm all over the place. I don't feel like getting my drill press out right now. It might be a little weak. We may wind up having to remake this thing, but this should be fine for now. Be at least a good proof of concept. Now the hard part is I need to go into the corner, into the ends here. Yeah, that's just not going to work. I need a bigger piece of wood with a larger face on it to be able to space these holes out a little bit more. And let's see. Okay, so what the concept here, at least, once I do this correctly, it's simple. The camera will mount on here, and I may need to move a little bit more if I know it does. And actually, I want to make this a slot at some point, but we'll go with a hole for now. Okay. That should be good enough. And then the bolts will be like such. I have extra bolts upstairs that are different lengths, but this should give a good representation of what I'm after here. So the nuts will allow the bolts to be adjustable in length, so that when I put them in here, I'll be able to adjust them down. So obviously this combination is a little bit too long, so I need to shorten these nuts. And I've got others that are shorter, so I can shorten that down and get it where I can close the door and then be able to expand these using the nuts as the adjustment, so that everything stays tight and the camera stays stable. That's the idea. So when we come back, I'll have this all figured out so that the case can close. You see that I've got my X-E1 body on here, and the screws are now adjusted such that this is a very snug fit in here. And once it's in, I may not even need the side-to-side ones. And that's pretty dang tight. But I will need to get it arranged such that the center of the lens is centered with the hole here as much as possible. Obviously it looks like I need to go down some and to the left some. And hopefully I can get this all lined up correctly. I should be able to get a little bit of play in there, but we shall see. Let's see, I need to go down a good bit. I need to go down about a quarter, maybe even half an inch. Let's call it a quarter inch, so which means I got to go back to the smaller screws, smaller bolts. Good grief. I've got this thing wedged in there so tight that it's apparently pushing out on the levers. So come back and see if I can make it a little better. Okay, so I've got to go get some more bolts for the uppers, because I need 4.5 inch and I only bought 3.5 inch, so not quite the right one. So in the meantime, I will record my mounting, which happens to use a bolt going through here into the back of this guy, and then the same this way. This is a long nut. Let's grab a shorter one. You can see I've got 2 clamps on here, and I guess I will have to turn them into the same orientation. These will go onto a pole and then clamp down on the pole here, and that'll allow me to get either vertical or horizontal, depending on the orientation of the pole. Or I could literally just change the orientation of the clamp and go horizontal. But these are camera rig clamps from small rig. And I think they are just the right thing for this job. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and, since I've got to go buy the other bolts to finish this up, but you can see my little rig here with the X-E1 attached now. You know, the camera just goes on with its, all of these are quarter 20 screws, so I've got one bolt going into the bottom of the camera. As it happens, to get the height right, I just needed to slide bolts in. The 4.5 inch long bolts, once I get them, will go here, so be a little bit longer here. And then I'll put in the front to back ones as I had earlier, and be able to position the camera that way. On the side to side, yeah, I was looking at it, and although it's close, I think I can just wedge some foam in here that the box originally came with, and be able to compensate for any side-to-side movement, prevent any of that from happening once everything is aligned. So let me see if I can find my silicone real quick. Okay, have silicone will travel. The easiest way to do this is actually on the dome itself. You just want a nice bead of silicone around the dome with no breaks, preferable. That should be more than adequate. A little press. Get the silicone to ooze out the sides there, and we know we've got good contact. Probably regret removing that, but oh well. So now I'll just let this sit for a night or so until I get the bolts back, and then we'll finish putting this together and trim up the little bit of silicone that's around the edges and stuff. Doesn't look like we'll have any issues. I've got good seal all the way around though. The silicone actually comes up through the little screw holes that are here. You could seal it with screws on some kind of other gasket. I just prefer doing it this way. It's just easier, and I guarantee it's not going to leak. So we shall see what comes next. Oh, and I'm going to put it on its side, or open it up so that it can actually breathe on the inside here. Once the silicone's in place, it ain't going nowhere. So we'll just prop it open and let it sit for a day or so. Okay, so I wanted to show you very quickly just everything that has to go in that box in order for us to do the Allskeye camera. So we've got the Fujifilm X-E1 camera that has its dummy battery already installed and ready to go, with the Laowa 4mm fisheye lens on it. We've got the JJC intervalometer that is required in order for us to take interval shots with the X-E1, because the X-E1 does not have an internal intervalometer in it, unlike my other Fujifilm cameras that do. Otherwise, you'd be able to exclude that portion and be able to set it up all internal in the camera, but you know, we have to do what we have to do. And lastly, I've got this is an Anker power pack. This is 15,000 milliamps. I was hoping to be able to use my larger Anker 26,000 milliamp power pack, but as you can see, it's so big that you can't put it in and connect the camera to it. It's slightly too big. I need about another inch of space. So can't use that one yet. That one would give me about a day's worth of power. This one should give me at least 10 hours, if not closer to 15 hours. The regular batteries are 1400 milliamps. There's one. 1400 milliamp, and it lasted about 2 hours the other day, so so this should go about 20 hours technically, although I think it will be a little shorter. It's a little older. I don't think it stores quite 15,000 milliamps anymore, probably closer to 12. But I've made some modifications to how I'm putting things in. If you recall, in the earlier portions of this video, I was using bolts as spacers to try and hold everything in place. I've kind of come to the realization that yes, it works, but it's a little hit and miss in terms of being able to get everything aligned and stable, stabilize the camera once it's in a vertical position. And of course now my dogs are wanting to talk behind me. So I'm going to try using the foam padding that came with the case originally as bolsters to hold the camera in place, and hopefully everything will work well. So let me show you very quickly how all this goes together. So first thing, and I did do this the other day, make sure you remove your camera lens. I got it all put together and about to go up on the mast the other day and realized that I had not removed the camera lens. Set your aperture to 2.8 or however wide your lens can go. Make sure that your focus is pretty close set to infinity. I haven't done any major checks on this as yet, but with the image that I'm getting, it looks pretty dang good set right at infinity on this lens. Be sure that you have access to be able to turn your camera switch on. Then you need to attach your intervalometer, which this one attaches into the mic jack. And then let's place this in here and slide it all the way forward. Okay. Which allows the lens to stick about halfway up into the dome. And once everything gets secured there, it'll be fine. You also have to program your intervalometer. This one requires you to program it every time that you turn it off. I'm setting this one to an interval of 20 seconds, and and unlimited shots. So now that's set up to go. The camera itself was set to ISO 400. The first test I did with it, which I'll post up here, was shot at ISO 100, and I got about 400 shots out of the original battery. I did not have the Anker set up on it. Which gave me about 18 seconds worth of video. And then I did a second shot daytime test with it with the Anker battery and that gave me about a 2.5 minute video during the day, but I'm hesitant to put it back up during the day because when I pulled it down at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was hot. Thankfully this is a mostly metal camera because it was very hot. But we're going to put it up tonight. Last night I tried to do it and I had a failure somewhere. The camera only took 5 pictures. So we're going to try it again tonight and see if everything works fine. I've got a full charge on my battery again, so we should hopefully be good to go. Next thing, so the camera settings are ISO 400, aperture is set at 2.8 on the lens, and the shutter speed is set to automatic so that it can vary the exposure based on the amount of available light out there. Go ahead and plug it into your battery. Make sure it's plugged for this cable at least, for it to work to power a 7.5 to 9 volt camera. You need to plug it into the 2 amp side of your power pack if it has the option. If you plug it into a 1 amp socket, it may not work. It needs a little bit extra juice in order to be able to convert from the 5 volts that this puts out to the 7.5 to 9 volt that the camera needs. And then we are going to pack this guy in here. I've got a small piece of foam here that I put up top that kind of wedges in here just to keep everything stable in the up and down orientation of the camera. Next I've got these 2 larger blocks. They're going to go in on the sides here, just like so. And that is the camera setup. And actually, let me go ahead and turn the camera on. There we go. Okay, so now everything's on. Get that in there. Go ahead and start your intervalometer and wedge it in here, which it looks like it's going to wedge in nicely right across the top there. And then your power goes in next. And you notice that the camera is functioning back there. There's the intervalometer. There's the shutter. So that's what we want to hear. Wedge the battery in here in such a way that it's not anything bad, and then once I close the door, everything should stay real nice and tight. Just make sure we don't catch any cords or anything, which is what we're doing up here in this corner. There we go. Okay, all tight, and as you can see, the camera is now not moving at all in there, so that's what we want. Now if we just set it here, we should hear not the dog. There's the intervalometer. And there was a shutter. Okay, so everything is currently working. So now I'm going to go ahead and put it up on my mast, and we will see how long this battery will give us. Like I said the other day, it took about 2,000 shots, which gave me about a 2.5 minute video or something like that. Oh, and be sure to clean your dome. Looks like I need to clean the inside as well, but I'll have to do that next time. And I'm going to try and let it go overnight. Last night it was clear. It's very disappointing. I only got 5 shots and then it stopped. Hopefully tonight will be clear as well, but we shall see. So stay tuned.